We are going to keep moving on, and this is where we want to glean some insights from you, because we could have everybody in this room get up and speak today and talk about fabulous things that are going on. So we would love to hear a little bit from you. There's a piece of paper that looks like this on your table. Look at the side that says session 1, and there's 2 questions on there that we would like you to chat about for 15 minutes. The 2 questions are: what examples of community connections have supported recovery and resilience building? And the second question is: what examples of working in partnership or collaboration have enabled positivity for community? So they're quite specific questions that Rachel, who's supporting our evaluation, is wanting to glean some information from you around. And so if you need any help or clarification, please pop up your hand. But the questions are right there on the table. If one of you could be a scribe, and if you could take 15 minutes, I'll give you a little 2 minutes left warning or something, because that's what a good MC does. And I'm sure you'll just keep talking right through if you're in a rich conversation, and that's fine too. So please take the 15 minutes to get to know each other a little bit and just have a rich conversation around those 2 questions. See you in... Oh, I know. There's never enough time for just the chatting. We have to plan more time for the chatting. But we will have to stay until 10 p.m. this evening if we don't keep moving, and I know you don't want to do that either. I'm going to come around and ask a spokesperson from each table to just share with us one sort of key message from one of the questions. Unfortunately, we haven't got time to do more than that today, but if you could pick out 1 or 2 key messages, because if your first one gets stolen by another table, you can go to a second message. All of this work that you're doing and all of the conversations we're having, the sticky notes, are all going to get put together in a fabulous evaluation summary like this by Ballabiri Bespoke Consultancy, so don't think your words are being wasted and won't be articulated. It's really important. I'm going to grab the roving microphone, so let's hear one key thought, inspiration, opportunity from each table. Can we start here?
Yes. You just want one thing from the top question?
Yeah, let's start with the top question.
All right, so examples of community connections and relationships, and number 1 was neighbourhood houses.
As I said at the start, they are the heart of community. And these institutions are so important. It's the place where people go and connect and where social capital is built. Thank you. That's fantastic. Just tell us which question, because it can be either. And
ours is number 1. So we've got a special group called the Cairn Valley District Representative Group, and that represents the whole valley. So that goes from Club Terrace through to Genoa, so it's quite a big area, and it's support for funding opportunities to support projects to rebuild. So that's something, yeah.
So, and the Cairn Valley Rep Group was established before the fires as part of their community planning process, and was able to just step up and continue on. I think it changed a little bit, but isn't that great that representative group was then able to just kind of keep working through the challenge, that particular challenge, and the next ones that come, like Sarsfield, having an ongoing entity for the community that's representative. Thank you, beautiful. Who am I handing to here? Which question?
Really the second one, I think. This was my thought, and it's interesting that John echoed it too when we were talking, is despite the grief, drama and issues of working with local government and funding bodies and grant applications and grant acquittals, I still am incredibly grateful that that support is there. It is, and I reflect that in Sarsfield, last big fires before these ones were 1965. In 1965, we lost the church and the hall, and I wasn't there then.
And the pub.
The pub closed in that same year. There was no BRV, no government funding that meant they got rebuilt. They were lost to the community. And what was apparently, because I was involved in writing the history in 88, was the best Red Cross balls were held at the Sarsfield Hall for years and years. And what's now our bottom paddock was where the guys had a keg because they were dry. And John said the same thing about gratitude.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just, from a personal recovery sense, we've rebuilt a house on the same similar spot, got a beautiful outlet. So looking back on it, while it was hard work, navigating the system and, it was just a pain in the neck. My overwhelming emotion is gratitude to all sorts of support networks. So, it was a hard time. It was this, it was that. But, and it applies on community level as well. So, that was pretty well it.
Thank you. What a lovely sort of positive reflection and how important gratitude is right across. Who are we going to hear?
Okay, we're going to go on the first one, and we've got written down one of the examples for community connection was the East Gippsland Winter Festival. Yes. Thank you very much. I can't take credit for that, that was everyone else.
Yeah, what a wonderful initiative that is, that has the whole of the region sort of celebrating that time where we usually hunker down. And I think originally that project, my understanding is it was about economic development tourism. But what they found was that at a really important time following the bushfires, it brought people out, particularly at a time when they would tend to be more isolated. And they got lots of feedback about how wonderful that was. So a really great project that builds resilience as well as economic and development and tourism. Don't all reach for it at once.
I think I'll go with question one. Oh, holy. I'll go with question one. And I think probably our best one about the communities. Yeah. We found that, after being impacted by fire, that a lot of, especially remote communities and all communities really, started to listen to each other. As John said, while in Sarsfield, they got to know their neighbours. So that's a really good bonus. And even if people have different opinions or values, they still seem to be able to capitalise on knowledge.
Yeah, really lovely, and that's been echoed by our beautiful guest speakers today around the importance of those connections in the community. Thanks, Donna.
I'm going with the second question, or the second example, and we were talking about the ability of a community to come together and ask for help from external and maintain their community voice without being taken over, without losing control.
Thank you, and I'm sure that was a bit of a journey. I think that's a journey we all went on, government and community together, going, oh, we're listening okay at the moment, oh, we're not listening so well now, oh, so really good insight. Who have I missed? Thank you, Michelle.
So I think a few of ours have already been spoken to, but one of the things that did come up was addressing number 2, which is the examples of working in partnership or collaboration, which have been positive for community. And from an agency perspective, I think it's been a bit of a breakdown in silos. So there's been a lot more gatherings of interaction between different organisations to do the best for communities and using conversations of agencies from communities. So everyone used to just go and deliver programs. Now we listen and collaborate and try to work together. That's something.
Lovely, thanks Michelle. There's quite a few sort of networks of agencies across the region, and they've been really rich and valuable, with a lot of really good listening to each other and tweaking. Like I heard, oh, we won't run that program that time, or we'll do it differently. Let's work together. It's been really lovely. Have you? Yep, no, you haven't. I haven't gone in a systematic way, so I've lost my.
Well, I'll just say that the first table did steal our idea of neighbourhood house. We don't actually have one in Mallacoota, so it was good for me to learn what that is and why don't we have one. Well, there you go. It's perhaps not operating as well as everyone else's, maybe. Not sure. Anyway, we'll go with the second one, which was we found some great examples of working in partnership and collaboration are our charitable organisations, things like Lions and Rotary and those clubs that already exist and do great work. In the face of a disaster, they just all pulled together. And it was commented here that you barely have to finish the sentence of "we need" and it's already done. So certainly we felt that in Mallacoota. We had no access to the beach, which is obviously a really important part of our community, and the Lions Club built stairs within weeks of the fire for us to be able to get back on the beach. So that was something of an example of fantastic clubs getting together.
It was also a great example
Of men's welfare. Oh, yeah, the men coming together to do that project together and talk to each other and support each other. There's another example of where we didn't have any rubbish collection in Mallacoota for quite a while, but due to OH&S potential disaster, maybe we won't mention that, it was Lions men, volunteers, jumping on and off a trailer, literally in their thongs in some instances, and throwing rubbish into the back of a trailer. So, and as they drive up, telling everybody to get your rubbish out. Who have I missed? Everybody's had a turn. Glenn. Yeah, please.
Can you hear me out the front? Because okay, all right. I have to have the microphone apparently. Just on the data that we are collecting for the evaluation to write a report and to be able to get your ideas and to be able to synthesise that. I heard a couple of comments saying, oh, we stole their idea, or that idea came up many times. So what we're looking at, there's no problem with multiple ideas being concurrent, because when we look at the qualitative or the storytelling, it's possible then to theme things, which then we can drag quantitative or numbers, stories and numbers, out of those themes. So, if three communities had a similar experience in terms of garnering local knowledge, which John was talking about before, just as a random sort of example, I think my point here is that enriches our ability to write a really sort of meaningful report and evaluation. So I guess thinking about that, there might be a couple of double-ups, when you've got the pre-survey and when you answer these questions and when you have these ideas that are being jotted down on papers, quite often we'll get similar things rotating around, and that is a good thing in itself. So even at the end of the day, when we say you can't run away yet because we're going to give you an evaluation, more of the same might happen, but it's really valid and valuable stuff. So thanks.
So we're allowed to be broken records on and on about the same themes because it's really important. Sure, Suze.
Suzanne Davies from Buchan, and obviously we were hit by the fires too. All I'm going to say is exactly what you're saying up there, Glenn. I'm hearing the stories, Mallacoota, Sarsfield and other places, but even though we're different with our communities, geographically and population-wise, there's a real thread what I'm hearing, is I'm very much attached to the neighbourhood house and I'm on the recovery committee. And so therefore your stories are similar to our story. That's just what I wanted to say. Yeah.
Thanks, Suze. Isn't that that resonance across communities so important because it's really connecting? I'm going to swap. Let's see how this goes. Thank you for all of your lovely insights, and I hope that was a really nice chat together on the table, and we'll be doing that again later.